Hello and welcome. My name is Kimberly Grymes. I'm a self-published author, and this is From Ideas to Pages to Publishing, a podcast where I focus on quick, informative episodes for both readers and writers. Mainly, it's me giving an update on my writing projects, followed by one or two recent author experiences, and I like to keep the episodes all under 20 minutes or less. And I'm not holding back either regarding my author experiences. You can expect me to share the good, the bad, the wins, and those moments when I'm ready to throw my laptop out the window. It's all part of the growing process to become the best author I can be, and hopefully my experiences can help others. Also, going forward, I'm planning to sprinkle in some guest interviews from all kinds of people within the book-loving community. That includes book influencers, artists and designers, editors, publishers, and of course, authors. Unfortunately, I can't promise everyone who submits a response via the guest interest form will be considered for the show. You can check out all the details in the podcast guest interest form at kimberlygrymes.com/links. All right, welcome to episode 17. This week, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on social media and how it doesn't, yet it kind of does, help authors sell books. But first, a quick update on my writing projects. Book 3 in my YA Dark Fantasy 3 Shades trilogy titled Shades and Blood Oaths is back from the line editor, and I've begun applying the line editor feedback, and all is going quite smoothly so far. Book 3 manuscript is scheduled to go off to the proofreader on August 4th, so I have until then to finish applying all the line editor feedback. And I'm pretty confident that deadline won't be a problem. Okay, moving on. The Kickstarter. Today is July 25th, which means we're 54 days away from the campaign launching. I cannot believe we are under the 2-month mark of the Kickstarter launching. But now is the time to really amp up that marketing. So expect to see a lot more posts and videos focused on the Kickstarter when it comes to my platforms. I'm also really excited that I reached 100 followers on the pre-launch campaign page, which was a super exciting milestone. Remember, my goal by launch is 150 followers. Also, a quick shout out to Holly Dunn, who did an amazing job with the cover design for both the dust jacket and the case cover for the 3 Shades Omnibus. She hand illustrated all the design elements on the covers. Okay, moving on, a quick update from my Prairieland Romantasy work in progress. Remember, this is the story that I plan on pitching to literary agents hopefully this fall. So my family took a vacation this summer, recently, and I didn't get to do much writing while I was on vacation, which is fine. I needed to step away. I needed that break, and I'm totally ready to get back into things now that we're back. So my progress for this Romantasy work in progress has been more about rereading the first 2 chapters and doing some self-edits and adding to the world building and story arc. I'm really happy now with how the first 2 chapters read and unfold. Just to jump back into a little bit, my debut book back in 2021, titled Isildes, started out like the opening scene started out as a casual opening scene, like 2 friends having a conversation while studying and doing homework. And it's not a bad way to start out a book, but when stories start out this way, you run the risk of having info dumping because they're just sitting there, they're talking. And so, when you have characters doing this, it's usually to have conversations that are meant to help inform the reader. Anyways, I realized after I'd written that book that I wanted to try alternative ways to open stories. And so going forward, most of my books that I've written since then have had some kind of intense or suspenseful actioning happening in that first chapter. But with this Prairieland Romantasy, I decided to not have some intense action happening. I decided to find a medium ground for a low stakes opening that isn't full of info dumping. So I made sure that the characters are doing stuff, they're in motion, stuff is happening. And even though it's not high stakes or, running for their lives or whatnot. I wanted to just keep this story grounded and focused on the prairie land life, the Western, the old Western, survival and just the daily life with romantasy. So romance and fantasy. Anyways, sorry to get off track on that. It's going well. I'm back on track with starting chapter 3 this week. And with that, I'm going to transition now into sharing an update on my other romantasy story that I'm also writing in addition to the Prairieland romantasy. So this one is the Secret Author Collab Project. It is a romantasy book. I can't really share too much details about the secret author part, but I can tell you that I have written the first 2 chapters, and because of the family vacation and stuff we recently had, I was only able to go back and reread through these 2 chapters, do some self-edits, add more to the world building, and fine-tune, the story details. Unlike the Prairieland romantasy, this romantasy story for the Author Collab Project does actually start out with a suspenseful and slightly more emotional opening scene. If you're curious to know how I keep these stories straight in my head, well, I'm going to jump back and recommend the Plotter app. Again, it's through my own personal experiences. I'm not doing a plug. I'm not an affiliate of any kind. It really has helped me with the visual part of keeping the story straight. And I write in the morning, the Prairieland romantasy, and then I write in the afternoons for the other romantasy that I'm working on. And these repetitive habits also help train my brain to know which story I'm working on. Okay, that's all for my writing projects. Sorry, sometimes when I talk about my projects, I get really excited and then I lose track of time. But now let's jump into this week's author experience topic, which is I thought I would share with you my thoughts on social media and how it doesn't, yet it does, help authors sell books. I think the phrase social media doesn't sell books has become a cliche phrase in the indie author community. And you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Another kind of cliche phrase, meaning you don't want to limit your marketing or your posting to one social media platform. I know they say do what you can, at least post on one, but you could focus more energy on one that you prefer, like I prefer Instagram, but you also want to at least kind of reach out and post on other platforms as well, more or less to see which one reacts and gets more interaction. You may not like one, but it may get more interaction and you may have to focus more of your time on that platform. Don't forget, it does come down to your lifestyle. If you work full-time, you may not have the capacity to put more energy into your budgeted time for marketing. Or if you have multiple writing projects, like I do, you may have to forego certain social media posts like real-time videos, meaning you're not going to be able to stop what you're doing, take a video of yourself or something you're doing, and then immediately post it. I mean, it doesn't sound very difficult, but it is actually quite time consuming. There's a whole other topic about posting frequency and making sure that the algorithm is happy. So for that, it's all about, the actual marketing planning. What I want to talk about right now is it all worth it? Are the posts and the videos we spend so much time creating reaching readers? And how much sway does our posts and videos have on them buying our books? Here's a little something I heard last year, or maybe it was in 2023. That was the year I burnt out from focusing too much time on social media posts. And it wasn't even multiple platforms. It was just Instagram. But let me jump back to what I had heard that changed how I viewed my posting habits. First, each platform is different when it comes to engaging with your audience. Instagram, for instance, is fantastic with visuals and staying connected with your readers and fellow writers. The community, in my opinion, is one of the best. It's my favorite platform of them all. The downside with Instagram, and this is that little something I heard that really changed my view on posting habits, is that once you post something, that post has the best chances of being seen within 48 hours, maybe 3 days for some, depending on your follower interaction. But the amount of content being shared on Instagram is so saturated that after, say, 3 days, your post visibility decreases dramatically. And then that's it. Unless someone purposely goes onto your page and scrolls through your content, that post is done and gone. This is where you want to pay close attention to your post's insight. Actually, you want to pay close attention to the analytics or stats on your posts on all your platforms. With platforms like Instagram, recycling content can be helpful in feeding that algorithm monster, but you have to be careful because if your audience realizes you're just regurgitating old posts, you may lose their interest. The same for TikTok. You can reuse old posts and videos, but if you do it too often, people may start to notice and they'll scroll right on past your future post. So content matters. You want to make sure whatever you're posting is something your readers will want to see. And you want to make sure that it's new and refreshing every so posts. You don't want to be constantly posting about your book. Mix it up and add some other posts that engage your readers to know more about you, your brand, what you offer. If you have a newsletter, mix it up and engage them. Make them stop on their scrolling and see what you've just posted. Now let's shift gears and talk a little bit about YouTube. YouTube is pretty much the opposite of platforms like Instagram and TikTok. People will search for a topic on YouTube, and videos that had been recorded years ago will show up as results. But like other platforms, YouTube is also oversaturated with content creators. So if you're going to use YouTube as a way to post your social media content, and you want to say use YouTube Shorts, it's going to be kind of the same as TikTok and Instagram. But if you have a YouTube page where you're posting videos, full videos, not shorts, you have more of a chance to be seen. Now you have to understand with YouTube, it's not about creating posts and sharing them. YouTube creators are a whole different world. It's almost like a studio setup. So there is a lot more that goes into having a YouTube channel and being discovered by readers on YouTube. So it's apples and oranges, and you have to find out what works best for you. The point is your posts, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, other social media platforms, they're not going to instantly get readers to be like, I'm going to go buy this book. And if it does, it's one of those small percentages. So if your posts aren't getting the interaction and visibility that we all want to get our books in the hands of readers, then what's the point, right? Well, in my opinion, the point is connecting with people. Building relationships with people and writers and other people within the book industry. That is the sole purpose, in my opinion, of social media. What comes of that connection varies, but the purpose is to connect and to see what's out there and see if this is a book you want to read or connect with other character illustrators. It's just a world of networking and connection. Social media may not sell books, but it sure as hell will build up your networking and followers. And a fraction of those followers will buy your books. And the more followers you have, well, that fraction may stay the same, but the number of followers buying your books increases. Does that make sense? Okay, here. Let me give you an example. If you have 1,000 followers and say 1/10 of those followers are people who have bought your book and have said they will continue to buy your books, that's 100 people out of your 1,000 followers where you know you're going to get sales. Now say your follower number goes up to 10,000. That same 1/10 percentage, 1/10 of people who will buy your book now goes from 100 to 1,000 because you have 10,000 followers now. And with that many followers, that 1/10% may slightly, adjust to say like 1/8, which now is 1,250 people who are buying your book. So you can't look at it as your posts aren't selling your books, because technically they're not. What your posts are meant to do is grow your audience and connect you with more readers and networking with other writers and people in the publishing industry. Now, once you have that community, those numbers of following, it's really important to hold on to those people. And what's the best way to keep readers interested in your author brand? You have to publish books. You have to find the balance between marketing and writing. If you have people wanting to read your books, but you're not putting out any new content, books, publishing anything, those people are going to start to look for other authors to read, and to follow. I mean, they may not all leave, but some will trickle away. It's a constant feed, not only to the algorithm, but to your followers. Now, this all may sound very overwhelming. Some things I recommend to do to help alleviate the marketing burnout that you don't want to reach is try scheduling your posts. I use Metricool, I use Canva. I try to schedule posts as much as possible. I also, in order to keep my posts different and engaging and not all the same thing, book, here's my book, I like to come up with kind of a calendar where I have a posting schedule. I've seen a lot of book influencers do this, where they'll do like Minimalist Monday, they'll have, Follow Friday. So if you can come up with some kind of, just a pattern of scheduling and make your pages aesthetically pleasing, I really think the algorithm for some reason can pick up on that. Make sure that your color palettes match your author brand. Make sure that everything, looks really cohesive. I highly recommend checking out either authors on Instagram or TikTok and just see what they're posting and what works for them. I did that, and my Instagram page has gotten a lot more interaction, a lot more views ever since I've really gotten this like checkerboard, so that it's like a photo and then a Canva graphic and then a photo, and then I just keep going and it's just this checkered, and it really works. So I highly recommend checking out, if you don't already use Canva. I'm pretty sure everybody uses Canva. And Metricool is great for scheduling. TikTok doesn't exactly like posts or videos that are scheduled through third party or outside. But again, I don't have the time to sit here every single day and stop, take videos or pictures, write out captions, and then post to TikTok. So it is what it is for me. It might be different for you. I also schedule one day a week as my admin/marketing day. Fridays are my day where I create and schedule all of my posts and videos for the upcoming weeks. Whether I take photos or videos or use Canva to create graphic style posts, it all gets done on Friday. If it doesn't get done, then the next week, whatever isn't scheduled, if there's a day or two missing, then that's what it is. Keeping this schedule allows me to focus on my writing projects Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. And then I do podcast stuff on Thursdays. So find the platform that works best for you. Even Facebook thrives with connecting authors and readers. And there are other social media outlets like Threads, Blue Sky, and X that are all still quite popular. I'm excited for Neptune to launch. It's a new social media platform that is going to be quite similar to TikTok, focusing more on videos being its main content shared. I'll definitely be talking more about Neptune once the app goes live. Taking away from all the rambling I've done this episode, I just want to reiterate that social media doesn't sell books, not when you look at it at a micro level. Your individual posts may not sell books, but share content readers want to see, and your following numbers will increase. That, paired with you releasing books for them to buy, and well, then yes, social media will sell your books. but it's super important to find that balance of keeping your readers engaged, growing your following, and releasing new books for them to read. So for those of you who are listening and your readers, just remember that indie authors in general, I guess, trad or indie, have a lot on their plate, not just for writing the stories and working with the publishing industry, the professionals in the publishing industry, but also we want to keep engaged and we want to connect with you readers. But sometimes it gets to be a little overwhelming when, we're fighting the algorithm or we're fighting that, right now is a bit of a lull and we don't have anything to release. So just remember to have some patience and, support your authors as best you can. And you can support your favorite authors by joining their newsletter, buying direct from their author websites, and posting on their social media posts. I mean, every comment and like, believe me, authors notice and they appreciate. Okay, that's a wrap for episode 17, my take on social media and how it doesn't, yet it kind of does, help authors sell books. I'll be back next week with more updates and more experiences to share. Until next time, thank you for listening to From Ideas to Pages to Publishing with me, Kimberly Grymes. For more information about me, my books, and my author shop, visit kimberlygrymes.com/links.